fancy intro music. Yeah! Woo!
Good afternoon, everybody, and today I want to kind of answer a question where I've been spending a lot more time in the Discord and trying to catch up with Facebook. Sorry for being behind on some of those, and answer a lot of your questions. We got a 2-week break where we're now entering the second week before we get into the next arc here in Star Trek Fleet Command. And in this time, I'm trying to use this as an opportunity to catch up on what a lot of y'all are asking at various points in time about different things. And the latest question would be this one, which is, hello, hope you're all well, new here. So Refinery is such a unknown, I think, for so many different players in the game, as in understanding exactly how it works. And while I have plenty of videos I can make, I also don't want to leave behind some of our newer players in Star Trek Fleet Command, because there are tens of thousands of them, as well as there are plenty of veteran players who don't know the answers to some of these questions. Like, for example, how exactly does the refinery work and pay out? And I was actually talking with some of our other, nerds who, well, we love this game, but at the same time, we admit that when we get into the spreadsheets and stuff, we're kind of hardcore, right? It's so, the John Connors and the Jules Vernes, the Gregors, the Blue Mandos, the June Breeze, all a bunch of huge freaking nerds, and that's okay. But let's talk about it in this video and explain how these things actually work. As in, how does the refinery work when you actually do a pull, and explain these numbers, because if you just take a quick glance at them, it doesn't make much sense. So sadly, these don't actually give you a little button to tell you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually look at some of the other ones to kind of give you an idea of step one of determining and understanding what we're looking for. So if we come down to one of these other ones, like the Latinum one, for example, I think might do it, but I'm going to click on one like this one. You see, we've got timers are always fantastic. If we come down to our Voyager, we click on these little I button, right? So what does this end up telling us? Each pull contains 3 guaranteed rolls. So understanding that a pull equals rolls. How many rolls in each pull? Now, if that might sound a little bit confusing, because it kind of is. So if you pull one pull of this one right here, so if I pulled this one time, this one chest cost me 115,000. That means I'm going to get 3 rolls of getting all these potential things, right? So that means I will get 3 things plus guaranteed circuitry plus guaranteed Voyager ship parts. So that means I'm going to get these guaranteed, some level of them. I'm going to get between 1240, 1575, 1860, etc. One of those options, and then getting these as a roll. So if I click it, I'm going to get, there's my commerce insignia, there's my circuitry fragments, there's my parts, and then I had 3 different rolls of these right here, the flute, the fragment, and the harvester. Now, that might sound a little bit confusing, but that's how it works. We're going to go up and take a look at the materials and try to explain it in a little bit more of an easy to understand way. So I'm going to start with showing you the G4 crystals. So this is a similar setup, except instead of it being 3 rolls, even though there's not a little I button, it's 2 rolls per chest. All right. So if I do the single chest pull as 2 chests, that should be 4 rolls. And we can kind of easily, math that out if we do a simple pull. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab that. I'm going to do a quick screenshot, and we're going to put here in the bottom. Bam. So this is the same thing just down there at the bottom. And for the purpose of this one, I'm going to actually do a single pull. I'm going to save them big ones for bonus refinery. So 2 chests, bam. What do we end up getting? 100 of the common, 36 of the rare, and then 1080 of the uncommon. Now, if you go back and look at our options, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here so you can see our options. Script right there. So now you see the amounts that we had that were originally available if we were going to make this pull. Now, you can then deduce, see the number of chests, 4 rolls, and we can divide and find out, is it correct and are we getting the right amounts? Now, some of these are kind of obvious, like you see the rares. Well, 36 rares is actually right there, as in it lines up directly with what it got. So one of my rolls ended up being 36 rares. One of my rolls ended up being 100 crystal. That means I still got 2 more, and now we have to do the wonderful world of math, as in, does it work? As in, does it actually add up so that the uncommons are displaying as we would anticipate them displaying if we're doing this number of rolls? So we've got 1080. It's actually kind of easy. We don't actually need to bring out the calculator. We know we got 2 rolls left, and one of them was 900. One of them is 1080, or I'm sorry, 180. That's pretty easy math, 900 and 180. So here's what ended up happening in this particular roll. Number 1, I got 900 commons. That's One roll, gone. Now I've got 3 more. Almost slipped everybody off. Then we have to figure out, okay, well, how do we actually get to 1,080? Well, there's 180, so there's my other roll. And I got 2 more. I got a 36 one. That one's right there. And then I got a 100 uncommon. So there's 4. Does that hopefully kind of understand or helps you understand the process of how we get to where we're getting? Now, in theory, that 2 chest pull could have gone 4 rolls, and I technically, it could have been possible to have gotten the 64 epics 4 times, which would have been 256 epic G4 crystal. Now, the odds of that obviously are ridiculously low, and the odds of what these are not publicly shared with the player base from the overlords. Now, that doesn't mean that players haven't used ways of trying to ascertain or predict what those rolls are in terms of like what are the percentage chances of getting each one. Obviously, commons being the highest, then you have it trickling on down the further down you get. Every now and then, Star Trek Fleet Command will actually let you know what your chances are. In fact, I think that's how it should be. Why we still don't have that displayed here on this refinery, I really don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and do a 4 chest pull here, and then see, now I didn't get any uncommon because fantastic. And then we'll come over here where I don't have the bonus, and I'll talk about that bonus here in just a second. So same setup, by the way. We can do this again. So this is the crystal one. Remember, it's the exact same numbers because it's the same refinery. I'm gonna do a double pull again. This time I got 60 and 272. So my RNG not actually being super favorable to me in this one. 60, that's it's the 2 lowest ones added together. So it's the 36 and the 24. But the 272 is the real kind of like, really? Because that's the 2 lowest commons. So my rolls here not being super favorable. And this is also hopefully maybe answers the question. People ask, well, should I pull more? All that pulling more does is give you more rolls, which actually brings me to this right here. What exactly is the +1 refinery batch if you were to purchase this prime, or if you were to simply unlock this one, you can get for free by scrapping ships. In fact, this one, if you scrap a D3, you can get this one for free. If you have questions, drop them down in the comment section below. So what this ends up doing is actually giving you another set of rolls on top of what you're already doing. So if you were to do a 2 chest right here and get 4 would be your normal, now you'll get 6. You'll just get an extra set of rolls as you go through it. So that's what the +1 actually ends up meaning, is you get another batch or another set of rolls as you pull. So if you pull 4 chests, it's actually like you're pulling 5 chests. If you pull 3 chests, it's like you're pulling 4 chests. And that's what the prime ends up doing for you, which can definitely translate into more of the uncommons, rares, etc. that you're seeking. Again, some of these rates aren't, they're almost like trade secrets. We don't get to see exactly what they are, but I can say that the refinery did get a massive improvement last year that many people have probably forgotten about. For example, just to give you a visual, this is what the original grade 3 was, and it actually got boosted by a factor of 2, as in doubled the amount that it actually paid or could pay out based on what these were. So this used to be only 6, this used to be only 4, and this used to be only 12. So they doubled what it can pay out. And that was a pretty big boon to the overall economy of the game early on. And just for those that don't remember, the G4 economy got even more of a boost, and it actually went up by a factor of 4. Now, keep in mind that the G4 economy is significantly more expensive than the G3 economy, as in it scales much, much higher. So that got a boost of a factor of 4, and the other one got double. With the exception, it is worth mentioning to, if you are watching this video, I'm sorry. If you are a low-level player in the 20s, you didn't really get much of a boost at all. I think your boost was 60%, which is not as good. That's a smaller number. Yeah, so if you look over there, you're probably sitting on much smaller than the double, but that is why. And then as you get into the 30 plus, that's when they kicked it into double. So the 20s getting a little bit less of a boost last year than everybody else. If you don't like that, that's okay, I understand it, but just please go ahead and like this video, as in me helping explain how the refinery works in Star Trek Fleet Command, because as always, figuring out this math is important for you as a player to understand how things work. So this was a quick, little simple, answering your questions, how it works. That's how the refinery works. That's how pulls work. And if you can find ones that actually lay out the odds, that's fantastic. So shout out to the Voyager one, giving you the option, sorry, wrong one, giving you the ones that actually show you what you can get. Like, so if I wanted to go get here, I love when they actually include the chance pulls of what they're actually going to get and how many rolls it is. But now, for those of you that did not know how the materials pull and the ship parts pulls work, now you do. live long and plunder. Stay safe with our space cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video. And as always, thank you. Share it out with your friends, alliance, and server mates.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.